Right, hello, welcome. I am Master Blivio. You are watching a very special video that I am happy to bring to the BlivCorp audience. Bear with me here, I want to take the time to really introduce this game and kind of some core concepts that we'll be exploring. We're going to start out in Diamond mode, this new game, and that'll mean a little more as we go further down the line. Like I said, I'm going to take my time here. And this game is called Hexfall. Hexfall. Be careful looking it up. I read about it a long time ago when I searched for it in the App Store. There's a similar game called Hexfall. Definitely not the same game. But get Hexfall, Hexfall, if you want to follow along with me and explore some interesting concepts. Yeah, this game is somewhat of a clone of a game that many people are familiar with, based on a game created by the same guy who made Tetris, interestingly. His name is Alex. Last name starts with a P, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it or spell it, but I think he's a Russian dude. Yeah, the basic concept, if you look at it, is to match tiles of the same color in certain patterns. Now, if you do it right, they will disappear. So let's go ahead and start out by matching 3 tiles that are blue. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise and just rotate the orientation of the pieces you have highlighted. There we go. Move 1 completed. For a long time I've been referring to myself as Master Blivio. And I've had this great confidence that I have master level skill in this specific type of game. But just being that good at something has given me a lot of confidence in life to do all kinds of other things. I want to show you a path you can take to become a master. One of the lessons here we're going to do is to take your time. You can definitely just keep matching pieces and progressing through your different moves. You know, there's no timer, so you're not really ranked by your speed here, but it does give you your move number and a score. So if you really want to like maximize your playtime, you could try to go for a higher score with a lowest number of moves. There's many ways you could play this game. We could go on about a million things here, but the most important thing I want to do is let you know that there are many pathways to becoming a master. One of them is to play a game like this, and you can get it on any mobile device. The reason I haven't done this video sooner, actually, is because the version I was first introduced to was on the Xbox 360, the Hexic HD game. You know, I don't have a capture card, so I couldn't broadcast my face along with my editing and extra graphics and whatnot without getting a capture card and linking it to the Xbox and then to my computer. So it's all very complicated stuff, and I can do this pretty simply now that I have the mobile version. I kind of dropped the ball pretty hard, because I read about this game years ago actually, but I mistakenly downloaded the wrong one. Now that I've found the proper game, I'm pretty excited. A lot of cool things that can happen in this game. So, as I said, if you match a formation of similarly colored tiles, stuff will happen. So right here, we've got a pattern where we can make a hexagon surrounded by the same colored hexagons. I'm going to rotate this piece counterclockwise, and we'll watch what happens. And would you look at that? A star is born. Now these pieces are interesting. You can move all the pieces touching this star piece, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and that opens up a lot more gameplay. Like I said, you don't have to rush through the moves. You can just kind of really think about the game environment and what you want to accomplish. I'm really analyzing this spot here because I can potentially make a star out of these orange pieces. So I'm trying to find the best way to move to make this happen. Okay, I think this may be a favorable outcome here. Let's just check out what happens. Yeah, look at that. So, if you take your time, you can make these stars pretty quickly. So if you really are motivated to become a master of this game, one of the first steps I would say is see how few moves you can move until you get your first star piece. I wasn't paying attention to how quickly I made this one, gotten 2 within 8 moves, so we're doing great. If you're getting that far at 8 moves, then you are well on your way. Okay, so then here we go. We can make a 3rd star. And there's so many ways to play this game that every time you can just pick it back up and do something different, which is really cool. One thing I'll say about the guy who made this game and Tetris is there's a certain brilliance to what he's accomplished with these games. They've really transcended from being just a simple matching game to becoming something that requires skill. Various ways to gauge the competition, different ways to master the gameplay. Yeah, while you're watching, if you're playing along, trying to master this game, one of the first things, like I said, would be to try to make these star pieces in relatively few moves. And one cool thing about the mobile version, Hexfall, is that you get this, if I move my shoulder here, little redo button. We've got 5 redos that we can do. If we mess up a move, we can click this and it'll bring it back before we did that move. That's another reason to take your time. If you make a mistake, you don't want to make a second mistake on top of that, because you do have the potential chance to undo what happened. We're trying to make star happen. Now there are some fancy tricks you can pull off in this game too, but I'm going to keep it simple for the first few lessons that we go over while trying to master this game. Yeah, what I'm trying to do really is just make as many stars as I can with, not burning through too many moves. And you don't have to play that way, but that's just the way I'm choosing to play right now. Oh yeah, another interesting fact is that when you rotate pieces using the stars, even if you rotate pieces that won't create a combo, it doesn't do anything and you don't use a move. Kind of like just when you do a whiff in a competitive fighting game. You do your move and nothing happens. You don't burn through a move. The only time that the moves count down is if you create a situation where tiles disappear. And there are many facts to know about this game. Just stick to my advice while you're learning. Very quickly you will master this game and have a similar level of confidence that I have, which is the point of all this, actually. One of the things I'm doing with BlivCorp, I'm trying to create an organization that is, purely focused on entertainment. That makes me very excited to present this game to everyone, because I have got countless hours of entertainment moving around colored hexagons like this, and there's some really interesting things that you can get into as you explore this type of game. We've got 4 stars now. We've only done 14 moves. We've got 4 stars. I'm going to set them up in a pattern now. There are various ways to move these across the board. I'm just doing this in a way that I know will get me to the end result that I want. So for the first experience in this game, a good tip is I want to make a pattern of star pieces that I can control, starting from the bottom. If you do it right, you can control every piece on this bottom row. Just about every piece. That's part of the first lesson, is to fill up this row with star pieces so that you can maximize your maneuverability of these colored tiles. A lot of pro players tend to start at the top when they form their stars. When I play, I'm not exactly a pro. I am a master, but no one pays me to play this game. I'm not breaking any records. You don't need to do all that, really. if you'd like to get that far, I can coach you though. I can show you how to do it because I know how to do it. Yeah, we're gonna just make some more stars now. Alright, so if you're working with a formation, like we've got this little J looking red color going on, I can't really move this piece and lock it into the formation because there's nothing I can match. So one tactic you can do is to move pieces around the left or right of your formation, and that'll kind of change the atmosphere of what's going on. So it's very abstract to think that way over here you can help yourself over here, but you know, look what I've just done there. So definitely useful tip. And we lost our shape because of that cascade that just happened there. Still doing alright. Nothing to panic about. If you wanted to, you could choose to work from the bottom and make stars. See how quickly I just accomplished that. I'm going to put those pieces back like they were. So when you make a star out of the, you know, the star that you're using, kind of complicated, but if you make a star out of a circle, when you want to birth a star, you make a circle, right? But we've already got a star where it would be birthed. So what happens is it just magically falls from the sky, kind of like the stork would do. And that's how that works. That's the physics of this hexagon universe we got going on. Anyway, let's make some more stars. Okay, this is a rare situation where the star piece hurts you when you're trying to make, in Hexic they call it a star flower, when you do the circle of 6 hexagons of the same color. So if I were to move this clockwise or counterclockwise, I would just destroy that formation there. So my best bet is to try to fish this piece out of here somehow. And it is causing me to burn through quite a bit of moves. But anyway, we brought a red piece close enough to do it, so there we go. Another star is born. We're just going to keep on moving these pieces until we can fill up this bottom row with our formation that we've been trying to create. While I have these stars close together, I'm moving them pretty fast. But like I said, starting out you do want to take your time, because if you match, if I were to rotate this counterclockwise or clockwise, they would eventually spin and these 3 stars would destroy each other. So I don't want that to happen, and you want to be careful as you maneuver stars next to each other. So now that we have this bottom row completely filled with stars in a grid pattern that we want to establish, we can move all these colors at the bottom aside from this orange one down here. This is kind of a dead tile right now. But yeah, we're going to keep on going. And we can kind of safely maneuver pieces without too much chaos happening. Once you get enough stars, then you know how they work. So yeah, if you've been watching and you get to the step where you have this bottom row filled out, then you've done great. It's pretty hard to pull off as a newcomer to this game. Right, so there you just saw I made a star drop down from the top because that centerpiece was a star. Now we've got the full bottom row, and we're going to start working on the next row. Alright, so now we've got 2 rows completed. And if you do this pattern all the way up to the top of the board here, you complete something called a master grid. Definitely feel like you've mastered quite a bit of this game by the time you are building the master grid. Now, if that's all you ever do in this game, and you feel proud enough to say, hey, I've mastered this game and I am now a master, you know, definitely go ahead and do that. Just keep in mind, whenever you master something, there are always more and more steps you can take to master it even further. I'm not sure how much longer we will work with this particular session. This is a very exciting game to be presenting. Well, I think I'm going to keep going for a good minute here. And when you get these stars in the right formation, moving them kind of feels like an algorithm, and you'll learn different maneuvers you can do. And the more algorithms you get for moving pieces in different directions, the more kind of advanced and quickly you can play this game. Definitely a very cool feeling to just be in the zone and moving pieces all over the game board, just kind of trying to accomplish your goals. And there are some very advanced goals we can set here while we enjoy this game. But we're not going to get that advanced. You don't have to be super advanced to master something. So that's not what this video series is about. If you saw what just happened there, we lost some stars into a cluster. Star cluster just disappeared there. It happens sometimes, you know, mistakes happen. Let's see what happens if we hit the undo button. Yeah, let's do that. I think we lost our chance. See, I was going too fast, so we didn't get the stars back, I don't think. Oh, damn. See, that was an unforeseen consequence. When a bomb goes off, and it matches with a star at the same time of the same color of the bomb, all those color pieces on the map disappear. So now you can see there's only a few green pieces that repopulated after all the green pieces down here disappeared, and then whatever the other cascading matches happened. Really advanced cascades can just fire off in this game. If you really know the mechanics of it, you can predict and pull off some crazy maneuvers. But our main focus is to create master grid. That is what we're going to try to do. And this gets a little scary if you are not, you know, a veteran of this game. Because you might be frightened to, you know, lose all your stars trying to rebuild grid. And it does happen. You know, so with a lot of things, practice makes perfect. And even at a master level of skill with something, you still want to practice at it. And when I go up a level, I like to start on this last piece here, because it's one of the hardest ones to lay in. Can't really spin it, but you want it at that place in the row. We'll just leave it like that, and we'll make stars over here and bring them over to complete the grid, the master grid. So I'm just quickly now moving these orange or yellow pieces, you know, however I want, because I am more and more close to having a master grid of stars on the game board. And one tip is, while you're moving pieces between stars, if you stay within your grid, like up here is like unformed grid area, a lot more random combinations can happen. Alright, now we're working on our third row. Alright, well I can't really do much about what's going on over here. And another reason why you want to limit how many moves you do is because the more moves you burn through, the more often these bombs come around. And if it counts to 0, it will end your game. Okay, I was expecting to have a lot more commentary in this video series, but I am kind of entranced in trying to complete this grid at this point. I am going to keep the video going, and I may take a quick break here in a moment to try to drum up some good talking points as we continue to explore this game here. I do have quite a bit of a mess of the stars on my hands. I try to clean up my grid pattern. Alright, we are doing great. And once you get most of your grid formed, you can move pieces a lot more stress-free and relaxed without having to worry about unwanted combinations coming out of nowhere. Okay, there's a few ways I can handle this situation. I think I'm going to go ahead and be a little flashy and let all the green pieces disappear off the map, just for fun. So what I'm doing is I am just kind of exercising all these green pieces out of my grid. As long as they're in places that won't affect the pieces below here, I'll be alright. But let's take a look at this experiment and see what happens. We've got 7,020 points. We're going to do a bomb star combo. That was hardly any points at all. Now we've got 7,095 points. Okay, whatever. The points don't really matter, honestly, but they are cool when you get into the top of the leaderboards. My tactic has been to become a master of the game, very hardcore, like a hardcore master of this game, before I attempt to place on the leaderboards. I have attempted some very tough maneuvers that could have gained me a very high score, but that was quite some time ago on the Xbox 360 game that I've talked quite a bit about. Right, now we've got 4 rows done. Very awesome. Okay, this master grid is almost set up. When you get this far, it's definitely a rewarding experience. If you've watched and played this game and it's all new to you, that would make me very happy to have influenced you to experience such a great game of I don't know what this game is when you get really deep into it. Like, I guess it's just a puzzle, you know? Similar to a Rubik's Cube. And here we go. We're about to complete the master grid. There we have it. Okay, so when you get to this step, you know, you're very close to being a master. If you can do it in 88 moves, then that's really impressive. I would be quite proud of you. But, you know, set your own goals. I just wanted to show you the master grid, and I'm going to continue showing you different things you can do with this setup here. There's more to the game than just stars and colors. A lot more to explore, and it'll be interesting to see how many people gravitate toward this game, how much more crowded leaderboards get after they're done showing it off to the BlivCorp audience. Alright, so we've got quite a few stars here. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know, when you surround a piece with 6 of the same type of tile, they create somewhat of a new tile. When we did the colors, we get the stars, for example. I don't know if you've thought about this yet, and if you haven't and you've gotten to the master grid, then you will have a lot more to play around with after you see this happen. So I'm just going to very quickly now amass some of these stars, and I want to show you one last trick in this game before I end the lesson, where I've showed you the path I've taken to become a master. And you do want to be very careful when you have this many stars in your master grid, because there are quite a few maneuvers when your stars get crowded that can end up in you matching up these stars in unforeseen ways. So you do want to kind of pace yourself and really get familiar with the different ways you can utilize this master grid here. You can make interesting shapes like this and not create anything. So if you surround a grouping of 2 hexagons with the same type of tile, nothing happens. But there still are some more interesting tricks we can pull off here. I am going to end the episode here soon, but one thing I want to show you is that if you make this little heart formation, you can pull off a really cool maneuver in which you create 2 circles at once. And if you were to do this with just red pieces, like if all these stars were just red pieces, I would create 2 stars here. But we have a different situation. If you haven't thought about what happens when a star encompasses a hexagon tile, well, a grouping of stars surround it, you're about to see what happens here. We are playing a certain type of mode. So if you paid attention to the very beginning, you would have seen the mode we played, and we're about to see what happens in that mode. Let's go ahead and take this trick, pull it off. Here we go. And look at that. I think we got 1,000 points for each one of those. So 2,000 points simultaneously. And this piece is called a diamond. Now you'll only see this in this game. It's not in Hexic HD or Hexic on msngames.com. This is a specific feature of Hexfall. Now, when you surround a piece with stars in Hexic, you get an item called a black pearl. In this game, there's a similar item called an emerald, but we're playing diamond mode. You just made 2 diamonds. This is going to blow your mind here. What happens when you click the diamond and you try to make a move? Well, you can't really, rotate it within itself. You can, maybe try one of those, but no, let's highlight it and just kind of move around. So you can actually move up to 6 pieces, and it'll just flip in the order that you've traveled them. I think this yellow piece is going to be where that initial diamond piece was. And then it's hard to predict how they move around. Definitely adds interesting mechanic to the game. And you want to be careful when using these diamonds to not have them travel through your master grid. That's a new aspect of the game I never thought about, because I haven't really played with these diamond pieces very much. Most of my experience is with Hexic and Hexic HD. Hexfall has a lot of similarities. Knowing what I know about Hexic makes me a master of Hexfall as well, and I can say that confidently. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and you are able to build a master grid yourself. Of course, we have destroyed about half the grid there, creating those 2 diamonds, but we can rebuild it quite quickly. I'm not going to show off and do that. I've already showed off enough here. I'm already a master, I've showed you the path to becoming a master. I haven't showed you how far I've mastered this game yet at all. I do plan to have a lot more episodes featuring this game and showing you the path to being a master yourself. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please like on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. I'm on Twitter too, but more importantly, follow on Twitch and TikTok. I have a Patreon now. If you'd like to be super generous, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Working on getting a shop going where I'm going to sell some merchandise. Yeah, big things are happening. Stick around while we explore explore this series of a path to becoming a master. Thank you for watching, and we will see you for the next episode.